submissive, man, docile. You know what I'm saying? A baby doesn't hold grudges and jealousy and all the. A baby is just innocent, man. It's clean. It's docile. Like when you grow up, you learn not to trust strangers. A baby will trust a stranger.
Yep.
A baby's got that level of purity, that level of innocence. But as you grow older, you learn that, you know, people are not to be trusted and so forth, you know, they're dangerous and so forth and so on. Right? But as a babe can be instructed. So that's why it says if whosoever don't come back like this little babe, he's not gonna make it into the kingdom. Yahweh Shai said that in Matthew 18.
Yeah, I was just getting that. Matthew 19 and 14. Yeah, that means you're being born again.
Yeah, basically.
18 and 1.
That's why I said he of her that conceived me. You read that?
Yeah, this is Matthew 19, verse 13. Then they were brought unto him little children, that he should put his hands on them and pray, and the disciples rebuked them. But Yahushua said, suffer little children and forbid them not to come unto me, for such is the kingdom of heaven.
Right. That they that instructed into the kingdom of heaven, they're gonna be babes, man. Alright, but the disciples, again, they were disciples, they were being disciplined, so they were ignorant of that. They weren't spiritual yet. Alright? But Yahweh said, no, don't, this is the manner of the kingdom, man. This is what it's gonna be like. Alright? Brothers being submissive to one another, man. Alright?
You can get that in what is it, First Peter, the second chapter, where it says be subject unto certain yeah, if you can get that for him.
Okay. There was one in Matthew's 8. That was a good one. There's one in Matthew's 18. Get that one first. Go. Let's go. What's it? First Peter what?
Yeah, chapter 2, verse 13.
Read that.
First Peter chapter 2, verse 13, and it says this: submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme, or unto governors and unto them that are sent by him, for the punishment of evildoers and for the praise of them that do well.
You hear that? So at the end of the day, we all gotta be subject to somebody, man. We can't all be our own kings, man, our own bosses, man. We all got, even in the kingdom, we're gonna have to be subject to brothers, man. Alright?
Like we are right now. We're doing it right now. So we can do it right now. We can damn sure do it in the kingdom.
You understand? You all gotta be underneath somebody, and every man needs a king.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You need some type of somebody
Right.
over you, man. Okay. Otherwise, you're lost. You're lost, man. You know, see, you gotta put that pride to the side, man. You gotta put that pride to the side, all right? That arrogance, that ego, that stiff neck, all right? You gotta let go. You gotta let go and let the pieces fall where they may.
exactly. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Go ahead.
1 Peter 5:6. Humble yourself,
Right.
therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time.
Right.
7. Casting all your cares upon him, because he cares for you.
Right.
That's a good precept, actually.
Now I want to go to 5. So look, yeah. Should have started from 5. Likewise, you younger men, submit yourself to the older. Ye all of you be subject to one another.
Right.
And be clothed with humility, for God resisteth the proud and giveth grace to the humble.
Right.
He resisted the
And
crowd.
that's good, because when it says younger men, you're thinking about an actual young man. When this is a young brother, you could be 50-something years old.
Yeah.
You're still young in the truth. And the older guy, you a man who's 50-something years old, you might have to submit yourself to somebody who's a lot younger than this, but old enough to be your son. Do you have the humility to do that? Do you have the humility? Because that's humiliation. You're being humiliated. That in itself is humiliation
To a certain degree.
to a degree. Alright? Because niggas in the world are looking at and thinking, bro, what the hell are you doing listening to that little boy? He's old enough to be your son, man. But then you as a man who's in the truth would see that this younger man has been set up by Yahweh.
Yeah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
He's not any young man.
Exactly. He could be Jeremiah. He could be Ezekiel.
And
Could be Job.
if I could say, I remember Apostle Tahar said that when you come into the truth, you're born again. So according to in some cases it might be 1 year, in my case it's about a year, such maybe going on 2 years. So I'm 2 years old spiritually. So I've been reborn, which I always used to say that in the world when I used to do so much stupidness, and I say, if I could start it all over again, I will come back into the world, but I would come back with wisdom. So all the things I did, like the drinking and all the smoking, I would not go near. Now, if I could start again and be born again, I wouldn't try it, I wouldn't taste it. Certain things I used to do, I wouldn't do it again. So in actual fact, it has happened. So now I'm born again spiritually, and all the things I did in the world, I know what it was all about, and I don't need to try it again. So it actually does work in your favor when you understand what the apostles, the older men are saying. When you come into the truth, you're younger than the older men who've been in the truth. They may be, if it's 10 years, they're 10 years old, 5 years. So it's wisdom to understand what their brother's saying.
Yeah. And then it teaches brothers to be more spiritual minded. All right? Because when you're a babe, when you're born again, you're getting rid of all that shit that you had before. You're basically putting a restart button on it.
Yeah.
All right? And you're starting again. All right? So all that shit that you knew before, that's out the window now. All right? You got to start again. Starting with this, the foundation is Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. And that's the house that's being built. Okay, that's the man that's being built now. The man that's been built as a servant of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So who's reading?
Read verse 15.
Yeah.
1 Peter chapter 2 verse 15. For so is the will of the Most High, that with well-doing you may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men.
And that's what, that's the Rastafarians. Yeah, they're putting them to silence. They're smoking so much weed, man.
Yeah.
But then they got the nerve to tell you, why they need to listen to somebody.
Yeah.
Them Rastafarians need to listen to somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what weed fucks you up, man.
Yeah.
Weed destroys your brain cells, man. I've seen what guys look like who are constantly buzzing, man.
Yeah.
They look half destroyed.
Huh? Did you say they need to listen to something?
Yeah, them Rastafarians, they need to listen, man.
Yeah, we all need teachers, man. Salaki.
Oh, no, yeah. But that's what I said, they're being instructed. Let's go back. Song of Solomon.
It does. It instructs his people.
Yeah, I'm going to finish John 2. I mean, not John 2, First Peter.
Well, you don't finish with it.
Yeah, I've got a lot going on.
You don't. Let me know when you're finished.
Alright. 1 Peter chapter
If we
2.
don't finish, we'll finish next week. John 10, because we got to finish John 10.
Yeah, Peter chapter 2 verse 15. For so is the will of the Most High, that with well-doing ye may be put to silence the ignorance of foolish men, as free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness,
Right.
but as the servant of the Most High.
Not use it. Read that again. Read that part again.
As free and not using your liberty for a cloak of
Not
maliciousness.
using your liberty, because this truth is also about liberty. Meaning, we're not all subject to the law anymore. Meaning, like as the scripture says, don't be overly righteous. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself, man? All right. So we are now because we have Yahweh Shai that died for us. We're now at some liberty, man. All right, because this thing is about grace now. All right. So we are at some liberty of the law, as opposed to this, trying to live a completely righteous lifestyle, because it's impossible to be righteous completely in the society we're living in. All right. So our means to the kingdom is through grace, but don't be using this time of liberty as to be malicious, man. To just do what the fuck you want to do. Go on.
Verse 17. Honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear the Most High, honor the king. Servants, be subject to your masters with full fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the froward.
Read that part again, because you just read that part.
Servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the froward. For this is thankworthy if a man, for conscience toward the Most High, endure grief, suffering wrongfully. For what glory is it, if when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently?
Right. And what that goes into, when you really check it out, what that goes into, because you might get a guy where he may get rebuked, but there was a misunderstanding that happened. But that's for that guy to just take it on the chin and just pretty much go along with it, and then, you know, learn from that and better themselves. Because when we all get rebuked, when it happens, really it's not something that should break you, but it's something that should build you to a whole nother level. That's where the rebuke, that's why there is a thing such as rebuke, because because I mean, there's different levels to it. You either get rebuked depending on what you did, or you may get reproved, or you may get a warning. But all of that is supposed. Now I use the word supposed, that's the key word. That is supposed to build you up in the faith. Now if you're not right and you're a wicked dude, it's going to supposed to break you down and you're going to be out of it. Alright, but if you're a truly genuine righteous brother that believes in Yahweh Shai, you're going to look at the reproof and the rebuke as something that's going to elevate you. You know? That's what that's going into.
You know, this truth is all about, it's not about how many punches you can throw and how, you know, how much of a man you can show yourself while you're teaching. It's all about how many punches you can take.
Exactly.
Keep
Get back
on going.
up. Yep.
And that's what this truth is about. You know, go on. Is that it? Yeah, let's go back to Song of Solomon. We'll finish that. And then
John 10.
Yeah.
Songs of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 2. I would lead thee and bring thee into my mother's house. Who would instruct me? I would cause thee to drink of spiced wine, of the juice of my pomegranate.
Right, so that's the philosophy. Spiced wine. I will cause you to drink of spiced wine.
That's actually some good stuff too.
You read, is that it?
No. I will lead thee and bring thee into my mother's house. Who would instruct me? I would cause thee to drink of spiced wine, of the juice of my pomegranate. His left hand should be under my head.
Right,
and
and
his
they said they instruct you to drink wine. How are you going to instruct somebody to drink wine? Showing you it's not actual wine, it's talking about this knowledge. Instructing you in this knowledge. Give me 1 Timothy chapter 3 verse 16. Is it 2 Timothy 3 verse 16?
I got it right here. It says, all scripture.
No, go up a verse. Yeah, no, read that verse.
Alright. And you want me to go up a verse?
No, sorry.
Alright. This is 2 Timothy 3, verse 16.
Read, listen to this, go on.
All scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High,
Right.
and is profitable for doctrine,
Right?
for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness.
Right, for instruction in righteousness. All scripture is profitable for instruction in righteousness. So we read how you're being instructed. Well, is that it?
Yes, sir.
That's it, that's done.
That's done, that's all.
Right. So that's all we're talking about. Alright? So when I was talking about, basically what I was talking about is how you laboring in vain if the Lord ain't with this, man. If it's not being founded by the Lord's intent and His will, it's going to come to naught. Alright? It's going to come to nothing. And all of this right here, this is all of the Lord. Okay? My mother's house, this is all of the Lord. Alright? And we're going to read it right here. Go on.
John 10, yeah?
Yeah, John 10.
Yeah, verse 4, and it says, when he put forth his own sheep. You want me to read what verse? The first verse, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, it says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same as a thief and a robber.
Right, it's a thief and a robber. That's what thieves and robbers do. They come in another direction, man. They don't come from the front. They'll come behind your back. They'll creep under. All right, go ahead.
But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep.
He that coming in from the door is the shepherd of the sheep. So the person that comes through the door, they're straightforward, man. They give it to you raw. Just like us, they hate him that rebuke you from the gate.
Yep.
But the ones that come through the back way, they're more conniving, man. They tell you what you want to hear. They appeal to your ego. God loves everybody. Of course, who's gonna hate that? Everyone's gonna love that. Loving everybody, you know, we're all equal. You know, the whole one world, one love doctrine. That's the thief and the robber. But
It says, but he that entereth by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice.
and the sheep hear his voice, go ahead.
And he calleth his own sheep by name,
Or his own sheep by name, go ahead.
and leadeth them out. Verse 4, and when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him,
And the sheep follow him, go ahead.
for they know his voice.
And they know his voice. That's it. Because we were going into Revelations 14.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that's why we went into Songs of Solomon. Because you're talking about the woman. How they defile the woman, but go ahead anyway. Go ahead. And then we're gonna go into that. Come on, finish that one.
And you want him to read that?
Yeah, read that.
Carry on, verse 3.
Yeah, man.
And it says, Revelation 14 verse 3, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but 144,000
Right.
which were redeemed.
Songs of Yahweh Shai. Go ahead. And Solomon was Yahweh Shai.
These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb, whithersoever he goeth.
Right, these are not defiled with other philosophies.
And you know too, and what proves that Yahweh Shai is Solomon, because one thing about Solomon and Yahweh Shai, they had two things in common. It's that they were parabolic. They were parabolic. Like as you was reading.
Yes, yeah, right.
Yep.
Yahweh Shai, all he did was speak in parables. And when Solomon came, he did said a whole bunch of things in parables too.
Yep.
All right? And they were both known for wisdom.
God.
Go ahead.
That was
So it said they were not defiled by any other philosophies, man. Okay?
For they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb, whithersoever he goeth. These are redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto the Most High and to the Lamb.
Right, and then it said that they were virgins. Did that literally mean that he had no sex? So all the elect they can't never have sex. No, it means virgin, like it says on Matthew 25. 5 wise and 5 foolish. Okay? That's right, meaning we haven't been defiled by no other philosophy. We're unspotted. Okay? You haven't been touched by any other philosophy. And then it said, these are virgins.
These are, it says, and it says, these are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb, whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto the Most High and to the Lamb.
Yeah, first fruits. Alright? So it goes back to the firstborn. Alright?
That's it.
That's it, man. So that's that. Go ahead.
I got some more on this. This is John 10, verse 5. And the stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him.
Right, and a stranger they will not follow. Meaning a stranger, meaning a strange philosophy, man. They're not gonna follow that.
Come on.
Okay?
Exactly.
They're not gonna follow them. Go ahead.
For they know not the voice of strangers.
For they know not the voice of strangers. Go ahead.
This parable spake Yahweh to them, but they understood not what things they were which he spake unto them.
But we understand it now, though. We didn't understand it back then when you were saying it. Because when the disciples, when they're hearing Yahweh Shai say these things, they didn't realize how important those things he was saying, that they would be written and down and remembered for millenniums to come. They were just hearing what he was saying and be like, what is he talking about? But what he was saying had deep meaning to it.
Then said Yahweh to them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers.
Exactly, that's why Yahweh said, I am the way, the truth, and the light, man. Okay? So unless it's built upon Yahweh Shai, it's not gonna see fruition. Okay? It's not gonna see fruition at all. You know what I'm saying? In the Sirach, it talks about dreams. Dreams lift up fools. Yeah, give me a Sirach chapter 34, verse 1.
Ecclesiasticus 34:1. The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false, and dreams lift up fools.
And dreams lift up fools, man. Okay? So if it's not of Yahweh Shai, that's well, everything in this world that's not of the scriptures, basically, it's a dream. Okay? And it's all false, and it's not going to come to nothing. Like, for example, there's this guy, he's Ghanaian, his name is Nana Kwame something, man. Nana Kwame, and he's a multi-millionaire, man. He went to university in Westminster in the early years, like when he was young. He's still young now, but when he was like young, he went to University of Westminster, and he became a millionaire, man, through selling metal. Okay, Ghanaian, Jake, man, and now he's over in Ghana right now, basically building up Africa. But starting with Ghana. His name is Nana Kwame something. Alright, multi-millionaire, man. He's building properties over there in Ghana that's worth $1 million each. Okay? He's building the roads, houses, $1 million apartments. And I've been listening to this guy, and if I wasn't in the truth, I'd highly respect him. Because he's doing something like for, his people. You know what I'm saying? Jakes. No, he's building up Africa. He's actually building it up. And he's talking things saying why there's so much tribalism in West Africa. Okay? So much tribalism, and he's thinking, why don't they all become one? Ghana, Nigeria, Congo. You know what I'm saying?
But see, that's the spirit, because that's bringing Israel together. That's what the spirit is.
That's basically what he's doing.
Yeah.
Okay? And he's young. And he's got his mind set on all of this. And I'm thinking, wow, man, you know what I'm saying? This guy's a young guy, and he's thinking big, man. Thinking big. He's actually doing it, man. He's actually got millions, and he's putting it all into
infrastructure.
He's actually building up. He's got like a whole town built, man.
Wow.
Look this guy up, Nana Kwame something, man. I've been listening to him thinking, yeah, this guy, he's like a leader in his own perspective. Right. I can see why all these politicians respect him. all these Ghanaian politicians respect him. He knows Floyd Mayweather. He knows he's been partying with Floyd Mayweather. He's been partying with all these celebrities, man.
And it just goes to show you that Jakes that were not schooled by Esau, they're on a totally different higher level, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because originally Jake fought, like the skills that Jake got. You actually study Jake and their skill. They were really far surpasses Esau, man, and all of these other nations combined.
I mean, this guy, he's for real, man. He's for real, for real. He's not just all talk. He's actually doing it.
He's putting it to action.
You know, Jake, when you go on YouTube, Jake does a lot of talking, man.
Yeah, I was
Jake does a whole lot of
I
talking.
was just thinking
man.
about that.
On his YouTube streams, his vlogcasts, Jake gets on his vlog charts and they talk bare about, you know, the nigga woman and, you know, niggas hating and shit. But they don't actually do anything, man. This Jake, he's doing shit, man.
Yeah.
He's putting it to work. Man.
He's got the money and he's importing
Walking the walk.
what's it? Construction workers, man. He's working with high-end architects. He's doing big things in Ghana, man. And I think he's named it called Oxford Street. He's working on a project called Oxford Street. Because you know you got Oxford Street in down there. That's going to be the busiest road on the planet.
Yeah.
Well, he's doing an Oxford Street in Ghana.
That's going to be. So he's going to look into do Oxford Street number 2.
Yeah. But he's looking to build up Africa as a whole. All right. But he's starting with Ghana because that's where he's from. Okay. And he's talking about uniting the whole of Africa, like the whole of like his people, because you got different people in Africa, man. You can't be talking about uniting Arabs and Ethiopians and white, you know, so Edomites. He's talking about his people, like Bantu, like Israelites, basically. In this part, bro. And if you see this man, his persona, he's very charismatic, man. He's very bold, and he's young, and he's charismatic, man. He dresses up in them Ghanaian clothes.
He's got the people behind him. He's saying.
Yeah, he's got the politics. They all listen to him and everything like that. Now I've seen a few of his. I watched a whole hour of him being interviewed, and you know this guy. He's got this passion, man.
We say his name was again?
Nana. If you type it Nana, Nana Kwame, Kweme, Kwame something. He's got 3 names. I only remember the first 2. Okay. No, you should see his car collection, man. He's got them cars, boy. He's got them classic cars, man. Them nice cars and everything. But
it ain't just the new cars; it's the classic.
yeah.
Right?
He's got some real, you know, cars. He's got even the Lamborghini ones, the ones that go up and shit.